Hey everybody, it is Gordon Majak here, back with another episode of Timeless Pop, Rock, and Soul. And today we are going back to 1970 for the first of what I'm sure will be many reactions I will be doing for this group in so many of their great songs. And today we're going to start with the first big, huge hit that these guys had, as I said, back there in 1970, the big breakthrough and the start of quite a run for, drum roll, David Gates and Bread. Remember those guys? Remember Bread? This is their second album called On the Waters from 1970. Now, there were some personnel changes going on around this time there for Bread. So even though you see four guys in the picture, in fact, we're only going to have two. That would be David Gates, the lead vocalist and the writer of this fine song. David Gates is playing all of the instruments on this song except for drums, and that the drums are being played by Mike Botts, who was Bread's drummer for many years. So we got David Gates and Mike Botts, basically half of Bread, on this track, and we are going to be listening to their first big breakthrough hit there from the spring of 1970, and that was a song called Make It With You. If you're an old fart like me, you remember back there in the day where we used to have a thing called soft rock. I think they now they have changed the name to something else. I don't know, yacht rock or something. I don't know what yacht rock is, but we used to have a thing called soft rock, and soft rock was all these great artists like Bread and like the Carpenters and like a few others who offered sort of a beautiful and tasty and mellow respite from all the cool stuff that was going on in the rest of the pop, rock, and soul music scene. When you're needed to kick back a little bit and listen to some softer sounds, yes, soft rock was the key. And David Gates and Bread were right there in the middle of it. Make It With You, as I said, comes out in June of 1970. Their first song out of the gate. It is a number one pop hit, number 4 on the adult contemporary chart, and number 5 over in the UK. And this is where it started for David Gates and Bread. They reel off 10 top 20 hits over the course of the next several years there in the 70s, running into the 70s. David Gates, the voice and the writer of so many of those great songs, and what can you say about him on both counts? Just a great writer, able to write. This is about a 3-minute and 15-second song, and most of Bread's songs, I would guess, don't go over about that time. And David Gates, one of those songwriters that sort of like Lennon McCartney back in the old days of the Beatles, could just cram so many cool ideas and so many beautiful musical emotions into an incredibly short, relatively short song. And David Gates did it over and over again. And he just had a real gift for that, writing really beautiful, really compact, really beautifully arranged, excellent performances. You always get great performances by the musicians in Bread. Especially, of course, here in another year or two, I think Larry Knechtel, the great Larry Knechtel, from the legendary Wrecking Crew studio session musicians down there in Los Angeles, he actually became a member of Bread. So you always got top flight musicianship, great songs written by David Gates for the most part. All their great songs, their great big hit records there in the 70s. Vast majority of them were written by David Gates. Great performances and those vocals. And what can you say about David Gates, man? There is the front man right there for the entire soft rock genre. That guy had such a beautiful voice. And again, was able to sing these very personal and very intimate and very beautiful love songs. Sometimes they were love songs. Sometimes they were breakup songs. Sometimes they were songs about other subjects. But David Gates just had such a way with that voice. And boy, he made the ladies swoon, and all the guys wanted to grab an acoustic guitar and figure out those cool Bread songs because for a while there in the early mid-70s, man, David Gates and Bread had it all going on. And this was the first thing, as I said, in their career, the first big hit of their career. And it's where I started with them back in 1970 there when I was 12 years old. Never forgot this one. And they just plowed right into a string of them, as I said, in every one of those songs. Just a classic And that's why we will be coming back to so many of them on the channel. I can't believe it's actually taken this long to get to Bread, because their catalog is not very big, of course. I mean, they weren't around for a very long time relative to some other big bands that had success like they did. So Bread's catalog is not that deep, but boy, what is there sure is great. And so we will definitely come back to that. But right now we are going to start at the beginning, 1970. It is David Gates and Bread. And man, this was just such a classic back then. This may even been, I'm thinking of the whole soft rock thing. You know, you had James Taylor and Carly Simon and a lot of that, the singer-songwriter stuff, and the David Gates and Bread and the Carpenters. And but I'm thinking, man, this song was sort of right there at the beginning of the whole thing, kind of an iconic song to kick off that whole soft rock genre of the 70s. David Gates and Bread, Make It With You. Back it up there. Hear that little string line again. I heard some echoes of ABC. Da, 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 da. That's such a great little string lick that shows up in so many pop songs. No wonder why, right? Sounds fantastic. And of course, I forgot to mention the lyrics. David Gates always had those memorable lyrics. You could sing every word of his songs. You could hear every word crystal clear the way he delivered them with that beautiful tenor voice. And you just wanted to sing along with all of these great Bread hits, right? They were just so memorable. And boy, talk about timeless, right? All these years later. This is what, 52 years later. Oh my gosh, let me back up so you can hear that little string line. Me through. I'd like to make it with you. I really think that we could make it good. Beautiful. And the next time I write a song, I'm going to steal that little string melody. Da, 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 da. That was too sweet. David Gates and Bread, yeah, I think that's right there at the very beginning of the whole soft rock thing. And of course, they just take off from there. The Carpenters were going, I think the Carpenters hit it big first there in 1970 as well. So really, that's sort of the launching point. Not to say, that, of course, that there wasn't a whole body of beautiful, mellow, softer rock, softer, not soft rock, softer rock, acoustic stuff and singer-songwriter stuff going back into the 60s, because of course there was. But in terms of the genre that came to be known as soft rock, I think this is sort of the genesis of it right here with the Bread and the Carpenters in 1970. And what a splash they make right out of the box with a #1 song. And that wasn't the last one, was it, for Bread? What a beautiful voice of David Gates. I'm always reminded, man, how would you like to have this guy's catalog? About a dozen just killer songs. Just unbelievable. That would be nice. Imagine those royalties, right? All these years later, can you imagine the royalties for all those big hits that Bread had? Baby, I'ma Want You, and Diary, and Guitar Man, and on and on and on it goes. And we'll hear most, if not all of those, on the big channel. That's it for what is today? Wednesday. I will see you guys tomorrow. Got to run out to the airport here. Got some family coming to town, but I will be back tomorrow. Don't know what we're hearing yet tomorrow. I got a little bit of an idea. We'll see when we get there. Bye. Oh, yeah, Bread. Man, all the kids in high school with the acoustic guitars learning those Bread songs back in the 70s. You better believe it. And then it's Stairway to Heaven later on, right?